we're going to talk to you about, and I'm sure you've seen the flyer, about why we do the editorials and what's an editorial. Why do we have an opinionated editorial in a profession like journalism that people expect that you should be neutral? So when we do the editorials, we set out ourselves like the people at the House of Lords who many years ago, almost a century ago, ruled in the famous case of Solomon and Solomon. And in that case, the House of Lords decided that they will go beyond the corporate veil. We are relating the corporate matter to politics and journalism, isn't it? The House of Lords decided that they will go beyond the corporate veil. So when we come to do editorials, what we come to do is to pierce the corporate veil and assess. There are two things we do in the editorial. This is the first one. We pierce the corporate veil and assess people in politics who are saying something, doing something, or not doing something, but we find that the thing they are saying, doing, or not doing, that is either commission or omission, is animated by a political end. It's animated by a political end to also create political gain. So people do things on the surface of it. You see that they've done something or they're saying something. And we find, based on our research, our expertise, our experience, we find that, no, this is against nation building. This person is doing this thing, motivated by something. So we go through the corporate veil, we pierce the corporate veil, and we see that it's motivated by either hatred, dislike, personal issues, personal ambition to become great or famous or something like that. When we find that, then we are ready to conduct an editorial and to show our viewers that this is the reason why the person is doing what he's doing. That's one strand of the editorials that we do. So whether we are talking about the distribution of food during COVID, where an MP says something and we find that what the MP said is populism, is not correct, is not true, it has been motivated by politics for political gain, we would always come and we will not stop doing that. We will always do that. We will always come and say that, wait a minute, let's do a better assessment and interrogate this issue well. If you interrogate the issue, you will find that the expressions of this politician or this public person or this civil society person was motivated by politics towards political gain. And so we look at expressions that are motivated by dishonesty, expressions that are motivated by potential populism to become famous one way or the other, and we will conduct an editorial on it. So if it is about somebody publishes a story about militia documentary, and we assess the documentary and we see that this was politically motivated, it's motivated by politics, for political gain or for populism, we will come after it and we will put it on the table, interrogate it, dissect it, and show our viewers that this is wrong. This is not how we build a nation. This was dishonest. That's what we do with the editorials. That's why the editorials are opinion-driven. They are our opinion, but we stand by them because when we finalize our opinion in the editorial, we have to be sure, and we always make sure that these opinions are verifiable. And that's why forever since we've been doing editorials for 4 years now, there's no editorial that anybody can come and tell us that what we said was not verifiable. If we were doing the kind of editorial that is to pierce the veil and look behind the story and look at the motive, dissect the motive, interrogate the motive, and deal with it. So if somebody comes and says that I have returned money, I've done that, we take the corporate veil and we slash it into pieces. That's what happened in Solomon and Solomon. That's what the House of Lords did in England. That's what the Court of Appeal did not do. And that's what we try to do with journalism here. That's why the editorials have become important. Now we are delighted that we started the editorial. We call it Good Evening Ghana editorial. Later on there was Joy News editorial. There's the television programs were not conducting editorials. And we are happy that they are all conducting editorials these days because we all need to assess the story. The editorials are a treatment laboratory that is treating the story. That's what editorials are. They are a laboratory in which we treat the story, we dissect the story, we interrogate the story, and then we will come and tell you that this story is not a good story. There's a motivation for the person. He has a motivation to do what he did. That motivation is an ill motive, and so we will come after it. And so whether we are talking about whether somebody collapsed Ghanaian businesses, whether an MP said COVID food was shared with party card, whether somebody has returned money, whether somebody is trying to be populist with Fix the Country, all of those editorials that we conduct, that aspect of it is intended to pierce the corporate veil and then bring to our viewers the real issues, the reason for which the person is doing that. In doing so, we come into an unhealthy confrontation with the principal actors because we believe we are exposing something about what they did that they don't like. something that they believe was hidden, something that they believe was covered with the corporate veil. We are piercing the veil to expose it and tell our viewers that this is his real motive. And in doing so, naturally, you will come in confrontation with the principal actors because you are, as it were, quote and unquote, exposing them. So that's what we do here in the editorial. That's why we call it editorial. That's why it's opinion driven, and people don't understand that and they don't like it, and they think that you have to be a journalist and there you have to be neutral. There's a place for that, but there is also a place in media, and that's opinion-based journalism. We've talked about it all the time. Rupert Murdoch is the author of it. Fox News, that's it. CNN, that's it. So that's opinion-based journalism, where we are driving into and against a certain agenda that we believe is not correct. So if you do a documentary and say there's a militia somewhere, we will pierce the corporate veil and show that your motivation was not about the military. It was not about the militia. It was about something else. And so people have different motivations for talking about things. What we have always tried to do, we'll continue to do, is that we'll conduct these editorials. Our test, the test to verify, the test to judge our editorials is the verification denominator. And we will always provide verification for it. We did that last Thursday. We provided solid verification for the opinions that we had expressed. So that's the matter. People wanted me to explain what all of these editorials are about, and so that they can get it and understand it. That's how the editorials are conducted. One strand of it. The other strand of it, the editorial, is when we are treating a story, and then we come by some important research about the story. So Adom-Otchere story breaks, and then there's Owu family, and then we want to try and understand who are they, how did they get the land and all that, and then we go and discover a document, and then we share with our viewers. So the other aspect of our editorials is bringing information out of our research that our viewers may not know, and that's what we do. So the editorial covers two aspects where we are piercing the veil, so that people can understand the ill motivation of people who otherwise present themselves as altruistic one way or the other. They present themselves like that, but really the information available to us suggests that they have another motive, and they are motivated politically, and they want to achieve a political end. That's what we do, and that's how we do these editorials. So the other one, as I said, is the research that we do. We conduct research on a news story. So by and large, fundamentally, editorials is a laboratory where we are treating the news story. So the story comes and we look at it and we treat it one way or the other. And that's what we do with editorials. We are not going to stop doing that. We're going to continue doing that. We are happy that after we started doing that, other media houses and other programs that were never doing any editorial have also started doing editorial. They call it editorial. Sometimes there's a confusion or there's a discussion here where we wonder, should we change the name to Good Evening Ghana Opinion instead of Good Evening Ghana Editorial? Because we started Good Evening Ghana Editorial, then there's Joy News Editorial, then there's something editorial, another editorial. So yes, we've been thinking about it, but it doesn't matter because we don't want to own anything. We just want to own our thoughts and to own the expressions that we give. What we call it, everybody can call it the same. No problem about that. So yes, it's opinion. It could be called Good Evening Ghana Opinion, but we will maintain editorial and we will continue to do it this way because we believe that we have a responsibility to call people out when they want to take advantage of people, because ever since the 1940s, politicians and people who are political actors have taken advantage of people by this hoodwinking business. They hoodwink everyone. They come in and they are coming for a personal aggrandizement, but they hoodwink and create the impression one way or the other that they are with the people, for the people, and all of that. You know, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, much as we have had this editorial conversation with him, he made a point, you see, that sort of fits into what we are saying. Let's have a look at it. He was addressing ordinary people and he was warning them about politicians who come to them and who sort of bring the veil and do certain things with them to give them a certain impression. That's what we have been doing here. This is J.J. Rawlings. Listen to him.
Sometimes these politicians can come and steal from you. They will do you in, but at the end of the day, they'll come and sit with you and drink small pito or come and eat small kenke with you. The fact that he's big man, he's doing this with you, you seem to overlook some of his faults because he's not treating you with contempt. Because he is not treating you with contempt.
So you heard what he was saying. He says that the people will come and they will eat with you and they pretend they are with you. Okay, so that's very similar to what we're doing. People come do things as if they are great, they are altruistic, but you will find that the motivation there is different. So that's why we conduct the editorials. We're not going to stop doing that. And we have been achieving results significantly. When we came after the militia documentary, the National Media Commission looked at it. Thereafter, the authors of the documentary were sacked from their organizations because what they did was unprofessional. And people wouldn't have seen that it was unprofessional. People would have gone on a tangent of a militia and scaremonger our society. There would have been some scaremongery. But when we punched the corporate veil, National Media Commission looked at it, they came to the conclusion that this was unprofessional. People were sacked and they are still in pain. That's okay. We are sorry for them. But that's not going to stop us from doing the work. We are going to continue to do the work because it is an important part of nation building as we continue to advocate for constitutional amendments about which we are beginning to get some support, and we're excited about that. We will continue to do the editorial. We're not going to stop. It will continue because, as we keep saying, the hand of the Lord is in this one, and that's why we are going to continue to do that. Okay, so that's one aspect. The other aspect is when we come by research. I've been reading this book, for instance. It's entitled The Fortunes of Africa, a 5,000-year history, wealth, greed, and endeavor. It's by Martin Meredith. He's the author of many African books. It has amazing information. Martin Meredith's book has amazing information that once we finish and we get it, we will share with you. And that's another aspect of the editorial. Let me give it to you again. It's entitled The Fortunes of Africa, a 5,000-year history of wealth, greed, and endeavor. And as Martin Meredith is an Oxford professor, he writes really well. He writes a lot about Africa. So we are doing this right now. Every time we are doing something, we are working on something and reading something. So once we get information here, there's a lot of information about West Africa and the mineral resources and how they came about and all of that. Once we get the information and then news item breaks that is relevant to that, we will bring you the research. So some of our viewers are excited that we always bring new research and we always say something new. And we are grateful for that. It's a bit of hard work, but we have to do it. We don't actually get paid the way we want to be paid, but we have to do it. So that's the other aspect of the editorial. And the other aspect which I talked about is that we pierce the corporate veil. Now, let me move to the touchscreen and give you an example of something that we've been talking about. So this is it here. We found this on social media, and I hope that is correct. It's written by Kobe Fiagbe, whom I know very well. Kobe, I hope you're doing well. It says in 2016, and it's quoting our good friend Captain Smart. In 2016, I actively participated in spreading totally fabricated falsehood about John Dramani Mahama, based on information provided by people like Paul Adom-Otchere and Sefa Kai. I participated in spreading the falsehood because I wanted my party, the New Patriotic Party, to come to power. I have subsequently found out that the information that we were given and which formed the basis of the falsehood we spread about John Mahama were all concocted. And then Kobe Fiagbe says, worship God. I mean, I can say for a fact that this is a total fabrication. That's not true. I've not done any work with Captain Smart. He knows that. And I don't do my work like that. I don't fabricate lies about people. If I have to say something about a politician, it's verifiable. We analyze it and we say it. If that's what he does, if that's what they do, this can continue with that. That we don't do our work like that. We don't fabricate lies about anybody. If Captain Smart is saying that he told some lies about John Dramani Mahama, we didn't tell any lies about John Dramani Mahama. In any case, I was reporting news before he came. Why would I give him my story? If I have a story, why would I give it to Captain Smart? It doesn't even make sense. And viewers, for the record, this is not true. I've never participated in any discussion, any meeting that is fabricating lies or building up lies against John Dramani Mahama, the former president, or president as he then was, and handed it over to anybody to be used to destroy anything. I don't do that. That's not my work. I mean, I'm not holding brief for Sefa Kai, but I know him very well. And we were raised in Burma camp. We were raised to be fearless. We were not raised to concoct lies about somebody and give it to somebody. We don't do that. We don't raise. So Captain Smart, if he wants to render an apology to President Mahama and his campaign team, he should go ahead and do that. He should, because he's confessing to telling lies about John Dramani Mahama. Now, the story doesn't quite say whether when the information came to him, he already knew that it was a lie or that he put out the information before he found out. But certainly, I have not participated in any such thing. I've not done any media work with Captain Smart before. Yeah, he's a friend. I see him. I respect him. I like his show. As I said the other day, I like his dark spectacles early in the morning. He's on TV with dark spectacles. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah, I listen to him. But I have never had any media work with him. I've never exchanged any stories with him. I've exchanged the stories with a few people. I've checked verified stories with other people. I've never done that with Captain Smart. I've never called him to say this story, that story. Never, ever. It's never happened. Plus, I don't concord stories and give it to any committee. In 2016, I didn't work with Kwame Sefaka in any committee. Zero. Nothing like that happened. So if today, Captain Smart says that he has told lies about John Dramani Mahama, and he wants to proceed to apologize to President Mahama, he should do so. There's no problem about that. But we have not had any interactions with him about that. It's not true. This is total falsehood. I have to say that this is from Kobe Fiagbe. It's not from Captain Smart himself, but it seems to be quoting him. So we are relying on what Kobe Fiagbe said. We have not heard it from Captain Smart himself, but this is Kobe. We know Kobe, so we believe that he's speaking the truth. Yes, we believe Kobe is speaking the truth. And the other truth is that I have not participated in any such thing with Captain Smart. So viewers, rest assured, that is not true. It's a total fabrication. It's an absolute falsity. It's a figment of their own imagination. Somehow they have to bring me into their story. Captain Smart, you may go to John Mahama and apologize. You may call his aides and tell them, Mr. President, 2016, I said a lot of things about you that was not true. I'm sorry about it. But apologize. John Mahama is a nice person. He may receive the apology. I don't know what he will do. But go and apologize to the politician for telling lies about him. And look for the people who gave you those lies to tell. It's not me. We have not done anything together. I think that's enough said. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Matter that I said I'll say something about is this our friends from the Fourth Estate. They have a story. It's totally much ado about nothing. Now, this was, I said I'll make only one comment. This was a fishing expedition to find procurement breaches against me. That's what they set out to do. And I've already said that these people don't do their own story. They don't have a story. They're always waiting for something to lash on, and they seem to have a lot of pain. I'm sorry about that. I can understand their pain. If you're sitting in a place and you have been asked to leave because of unprofessional work, it may be painful. I can understand it. But this one is much ado about nothing. So they went on a fishing expedition looking to find procurement breaches against something that I had done, one way or the other. They have received a letter that says that the process that was undertaken, about which you want procurement breaches, it doesn't lend itself to the procurement law. It doesn't come under the ambit of the procurement law because the processes that was undertaken by the company moves the whole process away from procurement law. So there's no procurement breach. There can be no procurement breaches. No procurement breaches have been found. And there they are. I mean, they hit a cul-de-sac and they still believe they have a story. Either they didn't understand it, the letter they received from the ministry, they didn't understand the import of the letter they received from the ministry, or they just want to say something else. I hope now, a day and a half later, some people have explained to them, Martin Pegbu explained to them that they have hit a cul-de-sac, okay, and that no procurement breaches were found. That's all I'll say about that for now. I'm sure that sometime in the future, if the company finds need for it, they will respond to it. But for now, that's all I'll say. That's what I have to say. So let me get back onto my chair and then wrap up on this matter. So now I believe that viewers clearly understand what we mean by the editorial. That's what the editorial is. Tonight, if you look behind me, you have some interesting photographs, don't you see? One of them is Plato, one of them is Aristotle. Over to our Facebookers and people who are watching, tell me, who is Plato and who is Aristotle? Both of them are serious philosophers of the ancient Greece level. So that's just, I just wanted to make the statement about editorial and why we do it. Our program continues. We have a beautiful program tonight. Stay tuned and stay with us.